All right, fans, listen up. It's time to get that merch, put on waivers, and put on Raiders merch. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, DM us, text us, sizes, orders, we got you. And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I'm podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day, 90 degrees out here in Southern California. Before we get Marcus Johnson on from Tape Don't Lie, from A Little Pocket Awareness, from SB Nation and Silver and Black Pride to talk about the Raiders and their upcoming Monday night game against the Baltimore Ravens. Let's talk about last night's game. You had the Bucs at home against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I think the 8.5-point underdogs in this game found a way to kind of to stay in this game, getting turnovers, all those things like that. And I know there's a point in that game where it's got a little bit ironic that Cowboy fans who cheered Michael Irvin on for all those years, all of a sudden were crying about offensive pass interference in this ball game. But it really was about them not being able to perform in the red zone. I've talked about this before. When you have an opportunity and you turn your opponent over in their own end, it's almost the equivalent of having the bases loaded in a baseball game with nobody out. You feel like you're already in your mind mentally, you're already counting points instead of actually performing and getting points. They settle for field goals. They miss those field goals, whether it's Greg Zuerlein or whoever. You really can't truly trust field goal kickers. You got to trust your ability to get into the end zone. They weren't able to get into the end zone in any of those situations, so that's why they really lost this game. Also, second half, you have to, if you're Mike McCarthy, you in no way whatsoever, you have to fight to keep all their timeouts. Whatever the penalty is, just who cares? Keep all three of your timeouts. And I thought after that third and 16, deep in Bucs territory at a 3rd and 16, they complete the pass to Amari Cooper, who had a great game, 13 catches, I think he had 140 with 2 touchdowns, stuff like that. You have an opportunity here to on a 4th and short where they're having trouble guarding you all day. You're struggling to guard you all day. This is not a typical game. Vita Vea had a little bit of pass rush up the middle, and I say a little bit. I mean, the guy was moving people like it was, like he was, moving the Colts out of Baltimore. I mean, the guy was just a monster as far as that goes. But in that situation, you got to go for it, because if you give Tom Brady the football with 90 seconds left and 1 timeout and all he needs is a field goal, you're going to lose that game. And the story was written as soon as you missed that field goal. I mean, you see McCarthy on the sideline going like this, like, come on, man. I mean, you got to know better. Your defense did its job already. They got a bunch of turnovers. Ronald Jones turned the ball over. Leonard Fournette turned the ball over. That was your job, to actually come through and win that game. They weren't able to win that game. They weren't able to, to finish the job, the Cowboys. And I think for this situation, I would say this. Just very similar to the Raiders' loss. The second time they played the Chiefs last year, and everybody was, oh my God, I can't believe the Raiders played so close with the Chiefs. It's a loss. And there's no silver lining under that loss. You lost the game. You lost an opportunity to win a road game. And you never know what's going to happen on the road as far as injuries go. You have an opportunity to win the game, to beat the world champs in their building, and you with fans in there, and you lose that opportunity. And that's a very big loss for the Cowboys. They're not a complete football team. Defensively, they have some issues, but they were opportunistic in that game. I thought Dak played kind of a heroic ball game there. I don't know what you do when you have all those receivers. I'm not sure what you do with Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, is he going to be an integral part of the Cowboy team or not? Because I mean, they got Gallup, they got CeeDee Lamb, they got Amari Cooper. Their tight ends are really good. I mean, they have a prolific passing game. They're going to probably throw the ball a whole lot this year. But McCarthy is not going to survive if they don't win games like this, because the average margin of victory in the NFL is within a touchdown. So they have to be able to do that. They weren't able to do that. I don't take anything from this loss saying that, the Cowboys are back. The Cowboys are back if they win this game. The old school Cowboys win this game. So this whole idea that the Cowboys are back because they won this game, or you might hear Skip Bayless say all that stuff like that. As far as that goes, that this is not that kind of situation. You have to win those kind of games in order to pound your chest and say you're back. In my mind, they're not back. They're just the same losing Cowboys who find ways to lose instead of finding ways to win, despite their quarterback playing outstanding, despite their defense doing a great job as far as getting turnovers in this game. I mean, Micah Parsons almost had a pick six as well in this ball game. So I don't think anything from it. I think McCarthy is still on the hot seat. I think Jerry Jones might as well just let Kevin Kellamore be the head coach because it seems like that's what he wants to do anyway. He wants to play that Al Davis role where he's in full control and then have a cookie cutter head coach in that spot. Go ahead and do that now, because what are you waiting for as far as that goes? But end of the day, Cowboys lose, Bucks win. You got to go for that another 4th and 5 in that situation. And you also got to keep your timeouts. All these coaches in National Football League, excuse me because it's crazy hot. All these coaches in the National Football League, they have all these different coaches. They really need a time management coach, and you got to be able to take the L on a play and not call timeout. You just got to keep all 3 of your timeouts in the second half. If they had 3 timeouts in the second half, maybe they could have went for that 4th down and be able to get it, waste more time. The only time you cheer for a field goal like that is if it's like the clock is expiring, or if you have 2 or 3 seconds left, not when it's 90 seconds left and the other guy on the field is number 12 and he has 90 seconds with 1 timeout. I mean, you can't do that. And listen, the game was not lost on that pass interference play, offensive pass interference play. Yes, it was Chris Godwin. Yes, it was offensive pass interference. Unless you're Deion Sanders, unless you're Charles Woodson, unless you're Rod Woodson, you're not getting that call. So don't look for it. It's an offensive game. It's the reason why they make up penalties to keep drives alive, because they want fantasy football points. They want people to be engaged with scoring. Really that simple. Take a quick break right here, and we will talk to Marcus Johnson from Tape Don't Lie, A Little Pocket Awareness, Silverback Pride here on the Put On Raiders podcast. All right, fans, listen up. It's time to get that merch. Put on waivers and Put On Raiders merch. Sweatshirts, T-shirts, DM us, text us, sizes, orders. We got you. And we are back with Marcus Johnson at the Mark NFL. Also SB Nation and Silver and Black Pride, Tape Don't Lie, and A Little Pocket Awareness, which is a really good show. If you like quarterback talk and all this stuff like that. Marcus, how you doing today?
Good, man. How about yourself, dude? How you doing?
We are fastly approaching the opener for the Raiders, and this should be a fun time here. Before we get to that, any thoughts on last night's game? Because I think one thing that kind of burned me in my soul as a human being as I watch this game, and one of the things that drives me crazy with NFL coaches is I don't care what the penalty is, you have to have 3 timeouts in the second half. I don't. There's no. I don't get take the L on the play. Mm-hmm. You gotta have 3 penalties, and also why are you pumping your fist after you kick a field goal to go up by 1 point when Tom Brady's on the other side, and it's 90 seconds with 1 timeout left.
I thought it was a great game though. I thought Dak Prescott, and people are starting to realize how good he is. Which, I mean, it's just funny. He beats Tom Brady. I always talk about QB perceptions. I mean, he beats Tom Brady, but he went blow to blow with Tom Brady. Now he's good. Now everybody says he's as good as he has been playing for 2 years. So
I could say something, but I could say something about that, but I won't.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But it was interesting. The Cowboys didn't pass the ball at all. Run the ball at all yesterday. They really strictly pass, and I kind of understand it because I don't think they would have been able to anyways, based on the matchup. Mm-hmm. But it was an interesting strategy. So I mean, they put up a lot of yards. They put up, threw the ball a lot, but they got into situations where sometimes when you throw see the thing is when you throw the football that much, I know it's a big analytical thing, but when you throw the football that much, I mean, there's room for like a lot of mistakes, right? Mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see a drop from CeeDee Lamb, they get an interception and they go score a touchdown. Now you're down 11 instead of just being down. I forgot what they were. I think they were down just 2 points at that point on that drive.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you keep passing and you keep, there's a lot of bad things can happen when you pass. Like you could, get sacked and fumbles. The plays fall back. So I don't know. It's an interesting strategy, and I understand it. I mean, you move the ball better passing the football, but sometimes it isn't always the winning strategy. But
yeah, I want to say too, like I know for me, I'm a baseball fan as well. I feel like the football equivalent of bases loaded and nobody out is when you get a turnover in the opponent's end.
Yeah,
you're already counting points in your head, and to
Mm-hmm.
not to come away from with any points in those situations with Zerline missing all those field goals.
Yeah.
Is there a certain? I see a lot of times people just like they get that quick change, and they're not successful. Is there like a plays or other plays that you like the best after like that quick turnaround where the defense is sipping Gatorade, all of a sudden they got to get back on the field because the offense turned the ball over in their own end?
I think you got to take a shot at the end zone. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. I think you take a shot at the end zone first, or even like, let's say, I think after any turnover, I think if you hit that big shot, man, that momentum, the whole feeling is big. It's totally different. You just got a turnover, and then you just got to hit a big play.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. Then that's like, then people's, the other side is like, oh my God, what's happening? Everything might start falling apart. So I think after turnovers, you got to go for big plays. You can't just start running the football. You know what I mean? I think you should come out and try to, like, at least the first play, try to hit something big, like a play action or something. That would be my strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. As far as that goes. So injury report comes out. You got Farrell on it. You got Jacobs on it. You got Leatherwood on it. A lot of these players are full participants.
Yeah.
But Richie is not on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it's like a lingering injury from the Rams joint practices.
Yeah,
we kind of know this. It's almost like and listen, I like Gruden, really good play caller, but with certain people, it's about availability.
Yeah.
But then if it's one of his favorites, it's not about availability.
Oh, you're right. You are right about that.
Yeah, I mean, like we know he's not going to be available. We can go into the season knowing not available. What do they do now? Is it Good and Simpson here? Or you're throwing Nick Martin maybe at guard against this really experienced defensive line for the Ravens?
Yeah, I think they're gonna throw Simpson out there for sure. I think Simpson is gonna go out there, and he's gonna. I think in the run game, I'm not worried about Simpson at all. I think in the run game, I think him and Leatherwood. I mean, he's not gonna be lined up at the same side as Leatherwood, but I think he's in the run game. Simpson's ready to go. Like, there's really nothing else that he really needs to do or get better at in the run game, in my opinion. I think he's a really good run blocker. You already saw it in preseason. He had some pancakes in preseason, especially when he's lined up next to Leatherwood. Him and Leatherwood were just moving people like crazy. I mean, those backups for the Rams were in trouble when those guys were lined up together on the same side. So, I think, since Denzel Good is a little flexible, I really think they should probably line up Simpson and Leatherwood on the same side and kind of have that strategy. I don't know if they're going to do that, but that's just me. But I'm not too worried about Simpson. I know a lot of people, are super worried with Incognito going down. I'm not that worried about Simpson. Yeah. I think Simpson has some issues with pass pro, but, he's just so strong. And I think, like, individually, the Ravens defensive line is not that amazing by itself, like just without the scheme. And the players that are just there. Yeah, without the blitzes.
Well, the blitzes, yeah.
Without the blitzes. I mean, the players there. I mean, the Raiders took their best defensive end. I mean, and Matt Judon, the other one, he's in New England. So their two best defensive ends are gone. But I think inside, I think he can move Brandon Williams more than Andre James would be able to if they run outside zone. He'd be able to get over there and actually move him because he's strong enough. In pass pro, though, it might be a little difficult for him, especially figuring out those blitzes. But he did play against Miami last year and played pretty well, and they have exotic blitzes too. So I'm like, I posted on Twitter, I'm like, I'm the only person who's not worried about John Simpson. I think everybody else is worried. It's going to be like a flag, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I mean, he has some bad instances in pass pro, probably.
Yeah.
But if Simpson plays, I think Josh Jacobs has a big day. That's
Okay.
kind of that's
I
my
was
thought
gonna.
process.
And speaking of the Raiders, offense running the football, they obviously want to improve from running the football the way they ran it last year.
Mhm.
So my thing is, the Ravens defensive line has seen power a whole lot in practice. The Raiders are doing that stretch stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's a better. Do you feel like their matchup with their offensive line and the defensive line? The Ravens did. I mean, the Ravens are a good defensive team, but they did give up 4.6 yards per carry
Yeah.
last year. So you can catch them in some of those blitzes and get your running back to the second level in the stretch game. Correct?
Yeah, because one, I think like I'm gonna point out Brandon Williams again, number 98, the big boy in the middle. He's not gonna be easy for Andre James to move. So if they're planning on running like inside zone and stuff like that, and he's expecting Andre James to move him, especially because Andre James is always play strict with him. I thought he looked pretty good in press flow when he played against the Rams, not the Rams, the Seahawks in preseason. I thought he looked good there, but I mean, he still had the play strict issues in the run game in that game. So, imagine him going against one of the best no tackles in football, right? So they have to move. They have to be moving, in space, go to the stretch game, go outside zone. So that way they can move and they can get Andre James and some other people. And then, Johnson can sweep around and get to Brandon Williams. And the Browns, I wouldn't watch the Browns game a lot because, I mean, they kind of similar to the Raiders, a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 13 personnel. I wouldn't watch that game pretty heavily because it's basically kind of the same matchup and see how they played. And the Browns had some success running the outside zone, but they also had some negative plays because I'm telling you, like, you just get the nose tackle, you just gonna blow stuff up. It's really there's gonna be plays, but they can't like if he blows 2 plays up, 2 drives in a row, they can't give up on it because if you keep grinding, I mean, the Ravens are eventually they'll break because they're a team that's built to stop the pass and then and they're built to get after the quarterback. I mean, that's their goal. I mean, that's today's NFL. And that's what they're planning to do. So, I mean, I think, the run game and getting to the second level on some of these linebackers, they have a chance to run the football on them.
Excuse me. The Raiders, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 22 personnel, 39% of the time last year.
Yeah.
One of the league leaders in that category. Does this help? I mean, obviously, this is Gruden's bread and butter. But does this help Derek and John kind of with as far as the play calling goes, force the defense to show their hand so it's easier for Derek to make decisions in these situations?
Yeah, for sure. I think other teams will probably show more base when they go into these personnels with the Ravens. That's why I wouldn't watch the Browns game because the Ravens, they stayed in nickel even when they were in 13 and 12. So I think the Ravens are different. They're going to stay in nickel all the time. They never had more than 3 linebackers on the field unless it was like 3rd and 1. So for other teams, like let's say, I mean, probably like next week against the Steelers, I mean, Mike Tomlin's a little bit more old school, and those guys are a little more old school. You bring the 12 personnel, they're bringing 3 linebackers on the field, right? Teams, probably the Dolphins might do the same thing, but the Ravens, they stayed they stayed in nickel the whole time, and they didn't really switch around too much. But I still think the 12 personnel matchup is a problem for the Ravens, I think.
Yeah. You posted something today about tight ends against this defense.
Yes.
And I was doing some research, and their linebackers are worried about coverage. Like they're not the best in coverage. This might not be, while everybody's waiting for the breakout game from Ruggs, waiting for the breakout game from Edwards. This is a game where it looks like it's going to be a Moreau and Waller game, right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Moreau, but I think Waller's getting like 17 targets this game. I mean, he should, because to be honest, I mean, the way that the Ravens play defense, they really don't like try to cover the tight end. So the tight end he gets free releases, right? And they don't play a lot of press coverage. Okay. So they don't play a lot of press. So these guys get free releases and like the flats are open. Like, so the choice routes are just open. They're open for taking. There's really nobody that can guard him one-on-one besides like Marlon Humphrey. And do they really want to do that? Do they really want to force Marlon Humphrey to guard him all game? And Marlon Humphrey's a little bit of a smaller guy too. It's a little bit of a mismatch. That's why he had trouble with AJ Brown last year when in the playoff game. So they really don't have an answer for him, when I was watching it. And I think that's the matchup that if the Raiders can exploit it, I think they could put up some big points on them. and surprise some people because they they literally have nobody that can guard him one-on-one, and they don't guard tight ends because of how much they blitz. You're blitzing linebackers and stuff. Guess what's open? The middle of the field.
Exactly.
And then Waller's smart, and the Card gets rid of the ball quick. They're just gonna do like quick hitches, quick outs. And he's a yak machine, so he's gonna, it's really a tough matchup for the Ravens. I don't know what their plan is. Maybe they're gonna try to, switch it up, but they didn't double team Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce was getting the same free releases I was watching. He's getting free releases all game. So it's I don't know what their plan is to stop Waller, but I expect Waller to have at least 13 catches or 12 catches, something crazy like that, like he did against the Saints last week. I'm serious, bro.
And I agree with you. I watched the same thing you're watching. So I was just like, when I'm seeing everybody picking this game, Ravens 31, Raiders 20, I'm just like, that's when and you talked about it on your last Tape Don't Lie episode, is that the people who look how in depth you guys know the Raiders, and it's impossible to know all these teams. It's impossible. And they're just going by, oh, it's the Raiders, whatever, but they're not actually going in depth to the matchup part of it. That's why people gravitate to shows like ours, is because we kind of go deep into it. And I look at that team and I'm saying to myself, they don't have anybody to do this. So, and it's not like you can just dismiss Waller like it was Miss Waller and like he's some scrub. The guy can flat out play. And Moreau, who is one of my favorite Raiders, and last year was a very hard season for me to watch. Last year with Winton. But I mean, I just feel like they don't really have it. So we'll have to see about that. A friend of mine who coaches and linebackers in the league, his point on tight ends and with free releases is free releases or free points. So
100%.
That's it.
But even the play I posted, even Eric Ebron, man. Eric Ebron had 11 catches in 2 games against them. So it's the thing.
Mr. Drops, Eric Ebron.
So who knows how many drops he had?
It's probably, he could have had 20 catches. You never know.
So it's a thing, bro, for real. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know. We'll see.
Let me roll over to the whole the stable of running backs that they had are gone. Basically, they got Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell, people like that. If it was 4 years ago, I guess that would be a top running back room as far as that goes. Do you don't we mentioned Waller and Moreau and their inability to kind of tie to, they let tight ends go free. Do you deviate at all when you look at the Ravens not having Peters? Because Humphries is really good, but Peters is the corner who scares me the most, because he just will change a game with a play, with a pick six. And him being gone for the entire season, really, there's no replacing somebody like Marcus Peters, right?
To be honest, they don't have too much depth at corner. The Ravens game is a perfect example, because the Browns game, Baker Mayfield, he got a big game, that day. He had 42 points and whatever. But what happened in that game is one of their cornerbacks got hurt, and then a new corner came in, and that's when Baker Mayfield took off on that game. So they don't have a lot of depth at corner right now, and it will be interesting. I think that's what I'm saying. I think they're gonna be able to pass the football because, one, the Ravens don't play the flats. Okay. They don't play the flats. They don't play things that Derek Carr is going to take that maybe Baker Mayfield won't. Baker Mayfield won't take the flat, the easy throw. Derek Carr is taking an easy throw, right? So if you're going to give him those easy throws, he's going to take it, and then they're going to get yak, and they're going to be able to move the football. So, and especially with players not being outside, and the Raiders are going to take shots. Okay. So, we've been watching them last year.
Oh yeah.
They're going to take shots, right? So, and they're going to probably take some shots early. And I think that the opportunity is going to be there for them to take shots, because the Ravens play basically man in cover 3, and they blitz. And then, if the Raiders pick up the blitzes, and Carr's going to see them. He's not going to be, because Baker Mayfield wasn't seeing them. Like, Carr's going to see these things. That's the thing that he's going to see. That's really one of his best things about him. He's going to see it. Mm-hmm. And if they went outside, man, there's going to be some big plays. So I'm a little excited about this game for the offense. I think they're going to. I think they're going to play well, for real.
Can you talk to me about the art concept you talked about in your last podcast about, could that be, I know something that you talked about for Mariota,
Yeah.
But is that could be something? Could that be because like I think one of the unexpected things you can do is like you look at a guy like Gus Bradley. The reputation is same front, drop everybody else. So when he blitzes, it can be effective.
Yeah.
If you run that kind of play with Derek, nobody's expecting Derek to run that play.
No.
So, so I think that could be something that they could do in the red zone to get things going instead of taking him off the field and putting in Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I mean, they could run zone read with Derek. They could. I mean, even the Browns game, last year was the example. I mean, if he keeps it, he can get it. I mean, I think when they run inside zone read with a lot of times, I don't think Derek has the mindset that he's going to keep the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to drill that in him though. I think they got to drill him to actually read it like it's
a couple
play.
times a game. That'd be nice.
Yeah, like read it like it's his play. You know what I mean? Like, read that defensive end. If it crashes, Derek, keep the ball. You know what I mean? Like, and take off. I expect you to take off, right? Especially in the red zone. I think like if they got to like the 4 and those type of situations, I think they could pull those plays and pull it off with Carr because nobody's expecting that, man. Nobody's expecting those plays. So that's a good point. I mean, I mentioned that a couple episodes ago when I talked about that. Like, I mean, you could run the inside zone with Carr if you really, really wanted to. But
yeah. Just to change the pace. You
exactly.
talk about them not covering the flats and stuff like that. I mean, we are all one thing I'm very interested to see is obviously what they do with Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if they're doing that where it's like they're picking up the blitz, they're able to get rid of the ball quickly and get the ball into the flats. I mean, a guy like him could definitely make an impact in this game. A great deal for the Raiders, right?
Oh, 100%, man. Because that's what I'm saying. Like the short game is there. Okay, the short game is there. They play off. They don't play press, right? They play a lot of off man, right? So when you're playing off man, I mean, they're basically giving up everything short because basically what their thought process is if you want to throw deep, right? You're not gonna have time because we're gonna blitz you and we're coming at you and you're gonna have to pick up these blitzes. You're not gonna have time. You have to give up the ball. So we'll be able to drive and tackle on all the short plays. But if you're just constantly moving the football and hitting the zones, you can move the football on this team, because especially with NFL defense these days, a lot of it you got to go watch. A lot of these teams, they have like a lot of hype when they play defense and they don't give a lot of points. You got to go look at the teams that they played these days. Because, I mean, every good quarterback that played the Ravens last year, they put up like 30 points. And, the same for like the Washington football team. Like they play a good quarterback, they give up 30, but then they play a bad quarterback, they give up 15. And then we're like, oh my God, they have a great defense. And that's fine. I mean, we want the Raiders to do that, right? Right. Right. That's fine. But my point is that I think the Raiders offense is slept on a little bit, and I think it's better than people think. And, I think they'll be able to move the ball in the Ravens for sure.
Yeah. No question about it. We're here with Marcus Johnson, Tape Don't Lie. Greg Roman. Thoughts about him. He's been listen, and you made a good point about this Raven passing game. They're always going to be last in yards.
Yeah.
But when they do throw it, it's pretty efficient. And you talk about like, open middle field closed. You got to close it against this team because Mark Andrews, who just signed a big contract. Mm-hmm. I think Boyle is not. I think Boyle might be going. Mick Boyle might be going on IR. I just saw that as far as that goes. So the injuries continue in Baltimore. But what are your thoughts about kind of shutting that down? Because Sammy Watkins is there, Hollywood Brown is there, but like you really have to shut down the middle of the field for this Raider defense here.
Yeah, I think today, I mean, we're actually get to see some Trayvon Moore action. We haven't really. He's been out there, but he really hasn't been tested or made any plays. And the joint practices, he was like a superstar in that Rams joint practices. So I think we're going to see how good he is because, the Ravens are going to try to attack the seams. That's where you attack the cover 3 defense. You attack the seam, but if Trayvon Moore can read these plays and he can have a lot of range and use his speed, he can close that middle of the field very, very quickly, right? And so I think a lot of this game is going to be on him, and I think it's going to be a great addition. I mean, we might see how great he is, man. If he's just that rookie difference maker that we need, he's going to be tested today. I mean, he's going to be tested all year. I mean, because that's I mean the good team. Right, one, he's a rookie, and the way you beat cover 3, I mean, it's up to see you attack the seams, and you attack those certain areas, and it's going to be on him to kind of close those areas quickly and be able to see it and recognize things. So that's where they're going to attack, because I mean, one, that's where Lamar Jackson is accurate at. I mean, if you let Lamar Jackson get going in the middle of the field, you're going to be in trouble. So they gotta close the middle of the field and force him to throw outside the numbers. And if he has that day where he's streaky and he's hitting you outside the numbers, then it is what it is. I mean, you got to take that, but you always play the percentages, and the chance is he's gonna throw some super inaccurate passes outside the numbers. So you have to take those chances, and I think that strategy will work too, for sure.
People keep going back to the Bills game, and also the Charger game last time when Gus Bradley played Lamar. Totally different situation, right? The Raiders are not coming out with 7 DBs and all that stuff like that, right?
Yeah, one, it's totally different offense. So Marty Mortonwig, he was the offensive coordinator then. Greg Roman was the run game guy, but the coordinator and who was calling the plays was Marty Mortonwig.
Yeah.
Now this is a totally different offense. This is a straight up like college run offense. I mean, that's what they're playing. Like, did Lamar Jackson run the football as a rookie? Yeah, for sure, right? But this is totally different. This is like QB counters, QB power, inside zone read, power reads, option plays. Like this is an expansive run game, and you're not going to be able to do the 7 DB thing. You'll get punched in the mouth, man. I mean, right? Like it's not the same thing. Like when you got 2 pulling guards, and you got Patrick Ricard pulling 2 to that hole on QB counter. Yeah. I mean, man, you need Denzel Perryman in there. You know what I mean? You need those big boys to come in there and play. So I think we're going to see a lot more base. I think that we're going to see a lot more base this week than we expect, unless they believe Nate Hobbs can play the run, which I think they do. Yeah. So it's going to be dependent on that. How confident are they that Nate Hobbs can go in there and play the run really well? And if they aren't that confident, then we're going to see 3 linebackers a lot.
Let me give you some word association. AFC West. I'll give you a team, and you let me know quickly what you think about them.
Okay.
Chiefs.
Unstoppable.
Damn it. I say the same thing when I watch them. So it's tough to watch that team. This dude hasn't lost a game in September in like 5 years. Andy Reid.
You know what bothers me about Patrick Mahomes? He's lost 1 game by more than 10 points, right? But that team took 2 weeks. He's had 2 bad games. The team took 2 weeks to get ready for him. So
exactly, that's crazy. The Broncos.
Below one word association. I want to say I'm gonna say limited.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Teddy B. Chargers.
I'm gonna use the simple word: overrated.
Yeah. I do. My question is my question to somebody was trying to get at me about the Chargers, and I said, can you name anybody in that secondary not named Derwin James? And they just couldn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's it.
They're starting a rookie. I mean, I like the Asante Sander coming out, but come on, you're a rookie corner. He's gonna get beat, bro. Like there's no elite. There's never been elite rookie corner. So it's never happened.
Exactly. So last part of your show, the last one you guys had an epic rant of the Chargers. I thought that was incredible. That was hilarious. Young quarterbacks around the league.
Okay.
There was one in particular where you feel like when the bullets fly, he will really, really struggle.
Okay.
And it's a guy I like. So it's Zach Wilson.
Okay.
So what is the I mean, listen, he's a rookie. They don't have right now they're not built to win. They're built for it's about the Jets are building for 2023, 24. So exactly. What do you see in his game that you say, hey, when the bullets fly, he's gonna struggle? Because I'm interested to hear.
To me, it's just more. It's based on college tape. I think that he had one of the best lines of college football.
Yeah.
And he was clean the whole time. But when it wasn't clean and the pocket got muddy, he didn't look very good. He didn't make great decisions, and he was kind of just didn't have great pocket feel. And I think pocket feel is a natural thing. It's instinct. It's natural instinct that you just have feel, because you can't see it. You got to be looking downfield, so you have to feel it. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a natural thing, right? And I don't think he had that natural pocket feel. Okay. So that's why I was always a little nervous with him. But I think he's accurate, has good arm talent. I thought he played pretty well in the preseason, but preseason is just basic coverage. Is preseason, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how he deals with a lot of these coverages. I like his confidence. That's what I really like. I think his confidence kind of just is a lot better. Like some of the things he was saying with the Jets in the Jets press conferences impressed me more than actually his tape from college. So and he's got Corey Davis, man.
Yes.
And I think that helps a lot of rookie quarterbacks. I think this was gonna be Trevor Lawrence's problem. Is like, I don't know who's gonna throw to, like who's he gonna lean on. And he's got Zach Wilson as somebody that can win outside that he can lean on. You know what I mean? And I think that's gonna help him a lot. So I think he's in a good system too. Yeah. I think he's gonna play better than I actually
because it's a Niner. It's a Niners type system, right? With the boots and everything like that.
Yeah. So I call it the quarterback handicap system, because it makes every quarterback look amazing. The Jake Plummer system,
One of my favorite BD lines is when he's talking about Shanahan. He was like, "Oh, we didn't get the first down. I get to call one more play." I was dying. I fell out when he said that. Because it's true. It's true about Kent. Because it's funny though. Like when Waller scores, it's Waller scoring. When Kittle score, it's a great play dialed up by Kyle Shanahan. I think that's 100%. Last one. I know there's a lot of Bear fans out there. Justin Fields going to be starting by the time the Raiders play the Bears? I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
for
so.
Sure. For sure. And to be honest, I think that sounds terrible, but I mean, besides running the football, I think he's a little more behind than people are saying. I would say he's a little bit out of all the
real long. Takes him a long time to get rid of that football.
Long delivery, and since he's not anticipating yet, that's in trouble. That's trouble.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
We'll see though.
I agree. Listen, I don't want to keep it too long. I know you got some tape to grind. Thanks for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you during the season. This has been I think everybody is pretty psyched up and anxious.
Me too.
I'm kind of upset that we gotta wait till Monday night, but at least we I'm sure everybody got the day off and they're ready to go.
I mean, the Raiders haven't embarrassed us on national TV in about 2 years, so.
They have. You said you had. They haven't.
They haven't. Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, they haven't. They haven't. It's been more the other blind Sundays with all 6. Everybody's playing, right?
Yeah, at 10 in the morning, right? It's 10 in the morning. That's the problem.
Yeah. Good job. Good job by the NFL. They give them a Monday night game and they go, 10 o'clock. Go play go to Pittsburgh. Go to Pittsburgh. They could. That game could have easily been at 4 o'clock. In Pittsburgh. Why does that game have to be at 1 o'clock at 10 a.m. Body clock West Coast time? But you know what it is. You know how it is. All right, brother. Take care.
All right, see you, man.